Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my shop. Welcome to my channel. My name's Keith and I'm your host. Come on in. Let's see what our next video is all about. Well, look what the cat drug in. Hey guys, before I get started with the video here, I want to thank everybody that has either handwritten a letter to me, emailed me a letter, text me, phone me, and even stopped by the shop here and had concern of where's Keith Fenner and how come he hasn't done a video in a long time. Is he still doing videos and all of that? You know, life takes different avenues, and you know, this last avenue that I've taken to make the move from my other shop over to this shop, on one hand I've had enormous help from you guys, my landlord, my friends, and on the other hand I have this humongous anchor that took a while to break loose. It pretty much is broke loose now, and I'm free and clear to get back to fun. Videos have to be fun. I told you a long time ago that I couldn't promise you one a week, and I couldn't promise you that I wouldn't give you 5 in 1 week. And those of you that have been watching me from the very beginning know that that's pretty much how it's rolling. A lot of you that have communicated with me, also, I dumped Facebook. My reasons, you know, related to First Amendment infringements and things like that. You know, YouTube's pretty much where all my videos are at, and it's, you know, it's a platform. I want to expand so that my videos are on other platforms, and that's why I started putting it on Rumble and stuff, and I'm going to still continue on that way. I'm not going to eliminate any platform. I'm just going to continue on. The platform for what I used to share with my Facebook now is on MeWe. And that is so enjoyable to be on a platform that, one, doesn't have advertisement and stuff. It cost me a couple bucks to have it on there, but you get to check out MeWe without any ads and commercials and stuff like that. And I'm able to share the same kind of little quick posts about the shop and small short projects, and also previews of videos that will be coming on. Alright, I just want to go ahead and give you a quick around the shop tour of where I'm at right now. And if you wanted to check out some of the things that have been going on, you can catch up by checking out my MeWe channel, and I'll put it in the link or description of the video here as well. I have footage that I have been taking while I finished up Buffy, because you know, that's kind of how I left off. I was working and putting Buffy together, and the anchor was getting so bad that it was taking the fun out of editing, but I made sure that I at least got the footage. So I do have to put some footage in and finish and put those videos together so that you can catch up to where Buffy's at. But I'm going to give you a glimpse of Buffy right now. She's got little chips on her, and there's chips on everything. This is not planned. Okay, so I'm going to give you a scan around, and flat spots. Of course, I did reorganize my in and out bench, and it has it's been overwhelmed, and then it's cleared off, overwhelmed, cleared off, and I have some other projects as well. But I'm enjoying actually having that bench here. Now the shop got cleared out after that that other K&T number 2 planer mill I had was picked up, and it's now residing in Florida. And since then, just the other day, actually, you're sitting on the machine, or the bed of the machine that I just drug in here the other day, and we'll get the camera turned around and you get a chance to take a look at that. And then, of course, my X-Carve and computer areas, that's going to change around a little bit too, because I've taken some money and invested into 3D printing and a couple other things, and those items will be coming in, and we're going to be changing that around. And the shop it's settling in, and some things are going to be adjusted a little bit and things like that. But for right now, let's go ahead and take a look around. Right up here, just to the other side of the material bench before the Rutland lathe there, I keep my Enco saw, and I really do love this nice cement floor, and I'm able to roll it around. Most of the time I'm lined up with the aisle in front of the closing coming right down here, and I have my stand here. Because I've crowded up this end of the shop a little bit, things aren't permanent. I can move them around to suit what I need. But for right now, I go ahead and I just kind of keep my saw a little bit here. I got to walk around the new item here, and my grinders, I had them in the center of the floor, and I really like that you can just walk up to them. But I'm back to it, and I can just pivot this around if I want to do carbide, or if I want to come over here and do high speed. Use my white stones or the green ones. You know, that's all. All right, let's head on over to the Rutland. This is my biggest challenge in the shop, and that's this flat spot, because there's stuff on here that doesn't even need to be on here, but I have it here because it's like, okay, don't forget about that, because as soon as you put something and stash it somewhere, you'll forget it. Okay, I love operating the Rutland lathe here and turning it around and having my project, you know, so that you can lay out your project on the bench and play with that. But I also have my soldering station here, and right now I got some pop away parts in here, and I'm putting together circuit boards and things like that. And of course I keep some other things up here that are, here's a battery that I keep forgetting to give to the scrap man, and this is a balancer that was sent to me way over at the other place. I've had it in the container, I don't know, 8 years. It's time to break it out and set it up on the bench. And then there's some Delrin, some other things there. There's a tap head here that I just don't use it that much, because it's not out where you can use it. Where I can put it, or if I just offer it off for, you know, sale or whatever, I don't know yet. But anyway, so I'm kind of working with that. But everything. Hey, here's a story. Okay, see this box right here? Okay, I put it here, and then I can put my mag bases on here. And what that is my pop rivet kit and my pop rivets. And it came time to do a harpoon for my best friend, and I needed to drill and pop rivet the eye for the clip on the end of it. So I completely went through my container outside and reorganized and went through all looking for this pop rivet kit and everything else. And it wasn't until after I completely went through there and turned the shop upside down and everything else, and I came in and I needed something, and voila, there it was. I even searched in here, searched in the cabinets and everything else, but it was right there in front of your face. I don't know, 64 years old, is that starting to happen? I don't think so. It's just some things you just look past it, because I was using it for mag base support, and it wasn't a pop rivet box. It was a mag base support, so I kind of looked past that. Just, you know, you run into those things every once in a while, or at least I do. The closing lathe, since I've tightened up the cross feed on there and the gib and everything, it has been continuing to be a sweetheart lathe. I've got my gantry moved over because I have a couple different reasons, but I want to go ahead and I want to pull this off of here. I have a job coming up, so I want to put the 3-jaw in there because I'm going to be grabbing on some hex stock and making some standoffs. But it's doing real well. I changed out that travel dial, and that's really nice. Tracer attachment's doing really well. I might have a couple other ideas. But the next thing that's coming up on here is I've drilled and tapped out the cover for the headstock. And one of the things I want to do is bring all that tooling that used to be behind the lathe here is over on the wall there and decrease that walk around to get everything. So I want a cathedral right here of all my holders and tooling that I use, wrenches, Allen wrenches, and also tool holders and everything else. I want that up in this area right here. We're going to eliminate a shelf and create a tool rack similar to the collet rack for the Rutland. Surface grinder. A couple weeks after I did the video of me getting it into place here and running it, and I appreciate all the input on what I was doing wrong, and that I am serious. I'm grateful. So I'll get back into using it and practicing with it here shortly. But this is what actually happened. A couple weeks after I went to fire it up, and I heard bearing noise. And your stomach just drops after when that happens, because one thing you don't want to have a bearing run on the spindle. Otherwise it'd be time to junk it, because seriously it's not going to spend any that kind of dough on the thing. All right, but it's still a beautiful machine. So the very first thing I did was loosen the belt. Let me fire it off. Hear that? It's in the motor. Happy dance! Okay, because those motor bearings are easy to change out and they're low dollars. So I will be having a video that will continue on and getting that changed out, and we'll go ahead and we'll get the new belt in there, and we'll probably do a few other things. So that'll be coming up. All right, the K&T is still doing great, and it's one of my favorite machines. And it's Matina on that really nice paint job I put on it over 25 years ago. And it's actually kind of hard to believe how long I've had it. But also, too, I've had it that long, and I haven't had no problems with it. I think I had to put on a new set of belts. I have changed the hydraulic fluid that I run in the gearboxes and things like that. And keep the ways oiled, and it's all doing really well. Okay, I got Buffy sitting where Debbie used to be, and of course she's pretty tall now, and actually the gantry goes over the top of the motor about that much. And I've got the readout on here. We've got a DRO Pros kit on here. So I have the travel dial for the spindle, and I have 3 axes, the knee in both directions, X and Y. I built a full wrap around the back side tool holder, collet and tool holder, and I still have some other things that I'm going to be doing with that. And of course she got chips on her. I love the rubber covers because they actually do help keep things really nice in here. That doesn't mean let it go. Like, I haven't touched this for a couple days, but I'm one man and I'm in the shop and I'm going, and I haven't picked up behind myself, and that's the truth. All right, so we will be getting on with putting the videos together. In fact, actually, the memory card that I'm recording on right now actually has that footage. So when I started doing a little video this morning, I go, "Hey, that's where that footage is at." So, all right, let's turn around and look the other direction here. Okay, the sibling drill press is working out perfectly fine in this location right here, coming out from the corner. So sometimes I actually use the K&T's table to hold long things that I want to drill in here. It's really, really working out well, and it actually just gives me enough clearance room in here. Sometimes I have something really long sticking in a hydraulic press, and of course it's still working super great. I do have I don't know where I put them, but I actually have cable track, and I want to redo this wiring on the switch here, and I want it to come, and I want to have a cable track on the side of here. So I'm going to be doing that. That's probably the only modification that I need to do to that to be 100% happy with it. All right, the hydraulic press sometimes is where I put all my stuff. I actually, this is one thing, I try to keep that out of the bathroom. You ever gone to the bathroom and you got a hand pump there, and it's just, the bathroom really is bad because you got that slapping on your hands. It's best to go ahead and put it on there, stand out here, do your hands, and then go in and rinse them off. And I find it keeps the bathroom much cleaner. So sometimes it sits here, sometimes it sits on the drill press, sometimes I even put it on the floor. But, you know, so the press actually has multiple uses, and sometimes I use it for a press. The door opens that way. I've moved the toolbox this way. I have set things lengthwise in here, and even some of the videos you see where I'll be pressing something, I put the camera on the other side. So it really has played out nice in a location that I've given it in the shop. And that's kind of what I'm sharing, is where I allocated the location for each item and its access for the jobs that I think I'm going to be doing with it has really worked out pretty good. I'm not really moving machinery around, but I am going to move some other things around. Now, when I build that rack for the tool holds for the closing, then this rollaway I plan on putting against the back wall. One, it's an area that I can walk back there and get something out of the toolbox versus walk back there and get something for the tooling for the lathe every time. That short arm location for your tooling on the lathe is very, very important. If you're going to go get something out of the toolbox, you're going to walk anywhere around here. So I do like my rotary toolboxes, and they're going to be floating around a little bit in a different spot as well, but they're portable. All right, I do need to paint the bases and move on with finishing them up, but I'm pretty well satisfied with them just like they are. Hey, let's check it out in here. I'm getting ready to cut out some more plant hangers. The plant hanger business has really picked back up again here since I've been over, and I have about a 100-piece order that I'm going to be going and knocking out here this next week. But the grate and the plasma cutter, and I pulled it out and I did a clean out on the pit, and I need to put on a new grate, and I'll order that up and get it on its way. I pushed this grate that this is on, you know, it's pretty well beat up now, but I just flipped it over and turned it over. About a year and a half I've run on them, and normally I change and get a new one once a year. And I've done more cutting on this and pushed it farther than I pushed it so much that you actually start noticing your edge guides actually start to form a little bit. It takes a heat crown. Heat just warps and distorts everything that you work on, whether you're welding it or torching it or cutting it or plasma cutting it. It all, heat creates warpage. So anyway, you can notice that when you're loading in your sheets and all of that good stuff. Anyway, I also inspecting my rails and so on. 2011, I think it is, when I got this. And so I'm getting into some components on this machine that I'm going to start changing out. When I do change out these rails, I want to increase the height of this rail from the tabletop, minimum 1 inch, maybe a little bit more, and then change my head position a little bit on the carriage so that I can create more clearance under the hard part of the framework on the carriage itself. For tip-ups and things like that, it's better to have the torch be able to be hit with the pop-away. It doesn't matter. There's no worry about crashing your torch. Not that you want it or drive carelessly, but things get in your way and happen without you knowing about it. And so to have it pop loose, lay there, shut off, not burn up, make cuts all over your finished product, it's a lot better. But anyway, I want to do a little bit of modification on this, and I will do video on that so that I can include that into the videos that I already have on this machine. And you know, I had 2 more people come on over, and I always do when somebody stops by and they would like to see how a plasma table holds up and operates, because they get a bad rap in one sense because people do not mount them down to the floor correctly or ground them correctly, or they're not following instructions, plain and simple. Anyway, this is running great. I'm happy with my location. It doesn't give me quite the diversity that I had at my other location, but I have plenty of overhead, and I'm kind of getting comfortable with just working the parameters I can work with it. Now, behind the plasma cam, that shelf back there in this area right in here, and also down underneath the bench here, I have gone through my material that I brought over from the other place, but I organized it a little bit different since I've been here in the last year. One, I used to have the tubs facing up, and you have to lift off one to the other and everything else. Get your material so you can look at the butt end of it, so you can go down through your stock or up on the shelf there or in the pail over here, and you can quickly see what you got. Lots of times on the phone and stuff, somebody's asking you, hey, you got this or that, or you're going to estimate a job and you go, hey, I got that somewhere. And you know what? This gives you a little bit better chance on finding it and using it up instead of paying the Biden inflation price there. Biden economics has caused this equity to increase in value, and you might as well use it. Sandblaster cabinet, I've been really enjoying having it. The Wilton, I'm happy with its location there. I may move it back just a little bit, but it has no issues of being out here. I do bring in a mat to put in front of it because most of this is concrete in here because this is your welding area and stuff like that. And you know, I do have a couple rubber mats, but you need to make sure that if you're going to run a sand, like I have two flats right here of these flat bars, and I just want to deburr the end of them, and I'll use that. My blast cabinet, I've been really enjoying it. I changed out the window once again, and it's amazing when you do that how much you can see. I do have my buffer and my wire wheel that were over in the other shop. Used to run along the same wall that I had this. I'm putting those on Craigslist unless somebody stops by the shop and picks those up, takes them off my hands for me. A couple $100 each on them. You know, that's all I'm asking. Lisa and I picked up new e-bikes, and we're stepping up in our biking, and so I've got those in here because now I've put the armored door in the side of my container, and the Porsche and the V-Rod are in the container now, so I've got that space cleared up. And let's get you on over to this area. All right, I got the ladder up here right now because I just put a new motor and new pump on that air compressor. I did the motor about a month ago, and I had to do the compressor as well. Both of them died, and so I just got that running today. And so I've left up the ladder here until I'm sure I'm comfortable with it, and just doing a few adjustments and things like that. All right, Synchro Wave's doing really well. I'm getting used to the material rack being mounted back on the side of here, and also my leads on this side of I used to have these on the wall at the other shop there, so I put them back on there and got my Coolmate down there. Now my stud welder, I put it up here, and I'm kind of thinking about selling and letting that go. We all know what I did with it, and put the digital on there, added a side fan, and we tightened it up electrically, and it's sound, and I do have some studs and the collets for it. Got my Monarch 250 down here. Okay, and it's been doing great. I just put a new spool in there, and of course we got 2 gas bottles on the back there in case we decide what we want to run. And I do have the Spoolmatic in here, so it has been really working out well for the fuel tanks, aluminum tanks that I've been building. And of course we got our hangers and anything else that we fabricate. We use the wire feeder, just like the drill presses we made for Cape Cod fence here this last year. You can see that on my MeWe. Used to have my little shaper right here. Well, the gentleman that bought my Kearney and Trucker number 2 planer mill also purchased my shaper. So my little shaper's out of here, and now I can use my Easy Bake Oven here to do my coloring on my artwork, which I'm going to be getting into doing some of that here in this next week here. I got some roses to get ready to take on an event that we're going to be doing in February. All right, so that's kind of all the old stuff and kind of how it's settled in here. Let's go in and take a look at the new machine we got in the center of the floor. Okay, this is our brand new 1941 Monarch Lathe. You know, 1941, I believe that's before Pearl Harbor. I got this from across the street, believe it or not. And I was able to drive the forklift from Childs over to there and then bring it over on this pallet. I made the pallet that it's on right now. It was a sheet material pallet, and then I modified it just so that it had a sturdier base on it so that it would handle the weight of this. This actually it has a 12-inch chuck that it goes on it, but its actual swing is 14.5 inches over the waist, and so it's kind of it's a little bit bigger than the Rutland, more massive than the Rutland, a little bit longer than the Rutland, but not as big as the Clausing. So some of the features, this doesn't have metric capabilities, but it does have clutch on it, so it would be the first running clutch drive lathe that I would have in the shop here. It does have travel stops, automatic stops that would kick out the travel on it. It does have a thread stop. It does have a compound that's not crashed or beat up or anything else like that. It came with a 3-jaw and it came with a 4-jaw. and it does have a broken handle, and it is missing a piece on the other side for the tracer attachment. All right, I do like how it has the shift out and lock ins. This very almost looks just like what Stan Zencalci has over there at Bar Z. We're going to go ahead and dismantle, clean, repair. We're going to gloss coat this and keep the same patina that you see right now. It will look camouflaged, and I choose to do that because of its age. I do not want to put on a paint job. I've already got a paint job over here on the closing to finish up, and so clear will be the only painting that I'm going to be doing on it. But we will make sure that what is easily peeled off will be off, and it's not going to continue to peel. I high pressure washed this thing before I drug it in here. So we have some areas that probably have a little bit of moisture, and of course we're going to be going into the oil bath down here. There's an oil bath here, there's an oil bath here, and we have a gearbox here. This also has a very, very nice tailstock, and I love the way that it locks on, and it has a positive cam lock on here. I love that. The quill, it still feels nice and tight. It feels like I have a little bit of backlash in here, but that may be just in this right here, and I think this nut here is kind of loose, so the wheel may not be all the way on the shaft. There's a couple other things there. We're going to investigate that. This handle's got a tweak in it. How do we get that back straight, or do we leave it alone? Those are decisions that we're going to be making while we go through this. This is going to be the next feature rebuild after Buffy. Now I've got to get Buffy's material into the editing room and bring that and conclude that for you, and we're going to be doing that here shortly. Okay, let's take a look at the quick on the back side here so we can wrap it up. Okay, I wanted to come, I mean, it has a deep pan down here and a trough, and then we have the electrical over here and the counterweighted weight over here for the linkage and stuff like that. But more important than that, I just kind of, we'll be getting to all that, but I just wanted to go ahead and show you the tracer attachment. Now the bracket that mounts here to the ways, I'm missing that piece right there. But this taper attachment is one of the most elaborate taper attachments that I've seen made, and they have a lot of roller bearings that are here, and of course I have a frozen bearing there. This one here feels good. We're going to be taking this apart, and we're going to be cleaning or repairing or replacing all the bearings, all the slides and everything else. It has a nice graduation here, and it has a magnifying glass in here. We got to pull that out, we got to clean that up. It has another set of rollers, and there's an adjustment right here on the top that sets the amount of play and the travel and everything else in there. So when you got things that are like this with rollers and stuff like that, you don't have gib wear on it. Okay, this is the first trace or taper attachment I have in this shop. Okay, the Rutland doesn't have one, and the Clausing has the tracer attachment. So now I'll have a lathe with a taper attachment and a tracer attachment. And that's if I decide to keep this machine, or if I decide to put it into working condition and then sell this and roll it out the door. We'll see. We'll see. We're unsure of everything right now. All right. So anyway, we're going to put this to bed. There's a couple other new things, especially things that the landlord has done for us, like put in a new asphalt driveway outside. And the latest thing is we're talking about redoing the old sign out by the road there. And of course, this is the old poles here. This is just happens to be my back screen. I've been talking with Quinn, and Quinn's done up some artwork for me, so my sign will look like this right here. and just kind of got an idea what Childs might want up here at the top. And they got their own artist that's going to be playing around, but Quinn kind of put this together. But we're going to be neatening up the sign out by the road there. And so I have the sign above my door here, but people can drive by and so just basically for a landmark sign. It's kind of in the works right now. So anyway, things are really coming together nice. And now that I've dropped the anchor, like I said at the beginning, I can get back to having some fun and life. And life is fun. And we're going to get back to it. Okay, I'll see what I can do about editing some videos there, and you guys see what you can do about subscribing and liking. All right? So, until the next time, get her done.